What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show is Stop Divorcing You. How much are you suppressing you in relationship, at work, with your family? Are you being you? Or are you divorcing you? Let us play with the tools of access consciousness and see if we can change all of this. And I'm a medical doctor by education, by choice, who became access consciousness facilitator and Akashic Record teacher. I mean, I have many hats: 3-day body facilitator, podcast host, published author, Reiki Master. I mean, you've done an Akashic Record teacher and founder of School of Akashic Records. But that's not important because those are just definitions. I'm inviting people to different possibilities with their health, money, and relationships through private session and classes. That's still a definition. That's not truly me. It's one part of me. And when I was growing up, I remember kind of like having fun. And then somebody said, "Oh, you're too loud." And I had to cut parts of me. So I stopped being loud. Then, "Oh, you're Jewish. Oh, you're that. Oh, you're that." And slowly my world started collapsing. When I got married, everything was about family, about my husband, eventually about the child, about being a doctor. It was about my patients. And I don't remember any moment when it was about me. At some point, when I was working, I encountered a Franklin planner. Oh, actually, somebody suggested I had a woman coming in and trying to organize my life because it was a chaos. Actually, it was more havoc than chaos, because chaos is a creative force. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But in that moment, everything was a disaster. I was overworked. My office was a mess as far as filing. My house was a mess as far as filing too, because a lot of business papers, business I would bring home and would continue working at home. So she started organizing my business, my life, and she suggested doing a Franklin planner. That was way before I started Access or even Akashic Records. And I remember listening because there was instructions on how to use Franklin planner, because at that time it was the only one that was available. And there was something about scheduling time for you, for me, meaning. And I'm like, "What do you mean scheduling time for me?" Because unless I schedule time to exercise, to relax, I didn't have time for me. It wasn't about being me. It was about working. It was about family. It was cooking. It was about patients. It was answering the calls. But unless I scheduled an hour a day for me to relax or do exercise or do anything, there was no time. And that was part when I was divorcing me in order to be a wife, to be a doctor, to be a business owner. I wasn't being me. I started looking at that hour a day of being me at that time. I didn't call it being me at that time. It was my time. guess what happened eventually? Or I chose. It's nothing happens. We choose it. That hour, maybe I chose it once a week. If that, maybe once a month. The rest of the time, I was about somebody else. How many of you doing that right now? And divorcing you in favor of somebody else or something else. It doesn't have to be even a person. It can be job. It can be your kids. It can be your family. It can be events that you're planning, traveling. It can be anything. So what if you don't have to divorce you? What if you can be you 24/7, no matter what you're doing or being? How would that sound to you? I'm hearing impossible. Yeah, in this reality, it is impossible. But what if it was possible? What if it's a choice? Just like years ago, to take time for me was a choice. Didn't always take it, but I knew I had that choice. How many of you right now don't know that you have a choice of being you? And what is being you? What if it's about choosing what you like, choosing fun, choosing joy, choosing ease instead of hardship, instead of choosing doing something for other people? When I got divorced, first time I had two marriages, and first time when I got divorced, I realized I had no idea who I was because I totally divorced myself. I didn't like myself. I didn't like what I became. I didn't love myself because mostly it was about things outside of me and trying to prove that I love myself, even with exercise, even with taking care of me. It wasn't truly about the pleasuring me. It was about proving that I'm pleasuring me, proving that, okay, I'm exercising, so I'm taking time for me. But was it? Not at that time, because a lot of it was not conscious. It was going through the motions. It was almost like an autopilot. Actually, not almost, it was autopilot. A lot of days I had no idea what I was doing. If you asked me, what was your day like? I'm like, I have no clue. What did you do today? I worked. And that was it. How many of you doing that? Eventually, I started practice of actually not quite conscious living, but at least in the evening, it actually started working on my memory because I thought it was a problem with my memory. Going through events of the day. And by the way, it's a wonderful exercise. It's not access consciousness, but I have no idea where I got that exercise, but in the evening, going backwards, all the events that you did, anything that you did that day, you go through them one by one in the back order. This way, you kind of start remembering stuff. In the beginning, it might have been only a few things you remember, and then it slowly kind of became more. That's when I started maybe becoming more conscious and cognitive of what I was doing. Because a lot of times I look at my life and it was just a blur because I was so busy in the office. Eventually, I became a single parent. So I had to take care of my daughter. I had to drive her to the activities. It was very structured in a way that it was, as I said, all about other people. And with access consciousness, I remember when I started, it was about what would I like to be? You know how like when a child is growing up, you ask them, what would you like to be when you grow up? That was kind of exactly the question I started asking me. What I would like to be when I grow up, when I become more conscious. And things started popping up. I would like to travel. I would like to have a lot of different things in my life. I would like to have more friends that are actually contribution to my life. And things started changing. Because when we cut parts of us, meaning we divorce ourselves, we put ourselves in the box, there is no more us. We don't even know who we are. Just like in the relationships, when you get into relationship with somebody, everything is so wonderful. You're on cloud nine, possibly if it's a good relationship. You start learning about the person, and at some point, the relationship goes sour and you divorce them. But the same thing happens with us when we don't pay attention to us, when we don't like us, especially when we judge ourselves. It's not about not liking us. A lot of times we think we like us, but how much are you judging you? Each judgment you do, you're divorcing part of you, because judgment is the opposite of intimacy. Judgment is opposite of knowing you. Judgment is opposite of being you. Because when you judge, every judgment is a lie. It's as simple as it gets. Judgments are just points of view. It can be other people's judgments, it can be your judgments, but all of them are just points of view. They're fixed, they're lies. There is nothing true about judgments. People say, okay, it's just constructive criticism. You have to look at yourself constructively. Constructively, meaning you create a construct, a lie. Construct is just an invention, a lie. It's what if we start peeling away those judgments? And it's time for our first break of the show. And after the break, we'll talk more about deconstructing the lies and creating more so we can be ourselves and stop divorcing us. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network. And today our show topic is Stop Divorcing You. Before we went on a break, we were talking about how much we're judging ourselves, and those are all constructs and lies. And I promise we'll talk more about how to deconstruct those lies and start being you and stop divorcing you. Because part of divorce is separation. You separate from yourself. You are not allowing yourself to be who you are. And so one of the tools, actually amazing tool, is who does it belong to? Because how many judgments and how much of that divorcing part and putting ourselves in a box are actually projections of others that we picked up. It could be from our childhood, it could be from our marriage, it could be from friends, doesn't matter. Just look at all the judgments you have about you right now. You don't have to remember all of them. Just ask for all the judgments to come up and ask, who does that belong to? Where did I buy those? A little lighter, but what if we actually send it back to whoever gave us those judgments? What if we don't hold on to them and just, let's move it back? Because think about it. If you have somebody else's phone, you cannot open it. Your face does not work on that phone if you have the new phone, or your PIN doesn't work, or your passcode doesn't work. Whatever it is, it's just not yours. All those judgments are pretty much the same. They have their own passcode of the other people. So why don't we send it back and let them deal with that? They can change it. We cannot. And why would we hold on to somebody's property? Oh, we like our judgments. We like those judgments of other people because it makes us small. So we don't show up. Interesting. What if we actually started showing up who we are? How much the world would be different? And right now I'm actually finishing up my recertification training with Access Consciousness. And Gary Douglas, who is the founder of Access, asked us, or actually kind of like brought up the idea that playing small does not serve the world. If we're hiding, or if we are not willing to be us, if we're divorcing us, what the world is like? What if we stop divorcing? What if we start actually being all of us? How much change can we create in the world? And how much the world would be a different place if each one of us stopped divorcing ourselves. Okay, just for a second, look how much you cut parts of you. How much of you actually present in your life? Just get an awareness of that. Is it more or less than 50%? Actually, it's less. I'm getting an awareness, it's less. More or less than 20%? Less. So are you functioning at about 10 or less % of you? What if you started functioning at 100%? There is a very good movie, Limitless. I don't know if you've seen that. I forgot who is the actor. But the idea of the movie, and there is also Lucy, another movie. But in that movie, he takes a pill, or I think it was pills, that bring his brain capacity to 100%. And he starts accomplishing so much more. And I'm not going to give away, but at some point he might not even need the pills. I don't remember if it was in the movie or in the TV show. But what if we start choosing to bring back the parts of us? And some of you might say, but those parts are wrong. It's evil parts that I cut off. Is that actually true? Because a lot of times evil, according to this reality, could be kindness that you are. Evil could be your being smart. Because a lot of times being different is evil. What if we embrace the difference of, it's Bradley Cooper. Thank you, Christine. I have my producer writing like little notes. Yeah, Limitless was Bradley Cooper. It was magical movie. Highly recommend watching it and maybe choosing to be limitless. Wait, our being is actually limitless. It's infinite. Let's play with that. Let's actually, if you're curious, I have a meditation that you can download for free on my website, creatingabundancewithease.com. And that puts you on emailing list. If you don't want to be on the mailing list, you can always unsubscribe. I'm very, very respectful of your choices, but you can still have the meditation for free. And that meditation pretty much allows you to feel and perceive how infinite we are. Not just consciousness, but much, much more. And let's play with that. You can close your eyes. You don't have to close your eyes. But I just invite you to drop the barriers and make yourself comfortable. Allow your crown to open up and kind of like the light of the universe to go through you and pull the energy of Earth through your feet, connect to our planet, connect to the universal energy, and allow yourself to expand through your heart, maybe about a kilometer or a mile, in all directions, up, down, sideways. Yeah, and then maybe 10 kilometers, miles, thousand. It doesn't matter what measuring system you use, which country you are in, but just expand as a sphere and allow the energy of the universe just to replenish whatever you feel like you're depleting yourself. You're not empty and you cannot be depleted of energy, but just expand. Make yourself as big as our planet, maybe more. But in all direction, if there is any direction that is limiting, just ask if there are any barriers that you can drop. And just keep going, more, in all directions, keep going. And now make yourself as big as the universe and beyond, multiverse. You're infinite, right? In order to divorce yourself, to cut parts of yourself, how much force do you use to keep yourself confined, defined, and limited? Because you're that infinite being, totally limitless. Your mind is limited, but your being is not, your soul is not. And just allow yourself to be that. And from that, ask, what would it take to stop divorcing you? And what if you let go of all the judgments you have? Because those are the ones that keep cutting you. Because if you have the judgments, oh, that's wrong. Oh, this is wrong. Oh, this is bad. This is immoral. Oh, no, I cannot do that. This is evil. What if nothing is wrong? Nothing is evil. It doesn't mean that you have to go out and commit crime. But what if you embrace every part of you? What if every part of you is beautiful? What if there is nothing wrong with you? What if every wrongness you judged of you are actually a strongness of you? How much your life would be different if you started appreciating you, loving you, and not judging you. Because the more you judge, the more you create of those judgments, because universe is very interesting. It creates everything that you put your attention on. If your attention is on the problems, you create more problems. If your attention on making yourself limited, that's what you create. If you're bent on constructive criticism, which is just another word of judgment, another definition of judgment, and another definition of divorcing you, what do you create? A cut up person that doesn't even know what they're capable of. How many of you are actually know what you're capable of all the way? None of us. I mean, there might be like one or two in the whole world that actually perceive that. And yet, my guess is, even if they think it's 100% of them, it's probably only less than 20% of what they're capable of. What if we are more and greater and more powerful than we can ever imagine based on the judgments? What if we actually start perceiving who we are and being us? It's time for our second break of the show. And when we return, we'll talk more about the tools, about how to create more based on who we are, what we are, and go beyond our judgments. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Inspired Choices Network. And we will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network. And today our show topic is Stop Divorcing You. Oh, and just on a little commercial note, I'm doing quite a few classes around the world. If you'd like to join me live or online, one of them is How to Become Money Workbook. That's going to be once a week for about 3 months. It's 13 classes, 13 telecalls, Zoom calls, call them whatever you like, where we will be delving into how to change your money situation. But it's not just money, it's everything. Because it's about more receiving, it's about being, it's about stop divorcing you as well. Also, I'm going to Ukraine in about a week to do multiple classes, or actually probably it's going to be a foundation, body class, and I'm also doing a body class in Istanbul. So join me around the world. Foundation will be online, and a couple of other like small classes will be online. Just go to my webpage, Creating Abundance with Ease, or Access Consciousness website. You'll find out more, as well as about private sessions. And that's kind of like where I stopped divorcing me by using the tools of Access Consciousness. It's been an amazing journey in the last 10 years, and it continues. It changes constantly. I just been asked, what am I doing? Because I do look fabulous and getting younger. And part of it is letting go of the limitation and being more of me, not divorcing me, not judging me, or at least not to the same extent. I cannot say I'm completely perfectly. Somebody asked me a couple of days ago, am I happy? And I'm like, I'm much happier than I used to be. And I'm actually happy most of the time. There are moments where I'm not. And that's when I'm not being me. That's when I'm divorcing me. And that's a time to use the tools like we used in the second part. Who does it belong to? Because a lot of things, a lot of times when we stop being us and start divorcing parts of us, it's somewhere, somehow, somebody else's point of view, somebody else's energy, somebody else's demand of us to change is playing a role. So start asking, who does this belong to? Is it mine? Somebody else's, something else's, and return it back. And the more you return it back, the more it changes, the more it creates a different reality. At least it did for me. It's allowing me to create something different, something beyond this reality, which I didn't even think possible. A lot of times we have no clue what universe can gift us if we stop being pathetic, being small, playing small, because we are not pathetic and we're not small. We're infinite. In the second part, we just did expansion meditation, and you can download it, listen to it. It's on the website, Creating Abundance with Ease. If you're just joining me, I just said that if you don't like being on the newsletter, email list, you can just unsubscribe. It's totally okay. So with shifting and changing as life goes on, what if instead of divorcing us, we start having intimacy with us? And by intimacy, I actually don't mean copulation, but you can have that too. But intimacy is more about honoring, trust, gratitude, vulnerability, and allowance. Those are 5 elements of intimacy. And it starts with us. It can be with another person. And yet, if we don't have it with ourselves, how can we give intimacy or be intimate with another person? So when we talk about honoring, it's about actually honoring us, not judging, not putting ourselves down. And let me count the ways how I can put myself down. I remember all of it. I've done it. I've been there, done it, have a t-shirt to show for it. In the morning, I would wake up and go to the mirror. When I'm brushing my teeth, I would already go into, oh, wrinkles, oh, fat, oh, this, oh, that. And believe me, I was creating all of that. Now in the morning, I'm like, hi, beautiful. I love you. And it actually changes because our body has consciousness of its own. And when we love it, when we cherish it, when we not judge it, it flourishes. Think about you. If you have somebody who always compliments you, always acknowledges you, always kind of like brings you up, makes you smile, versus somebody who judges you and constantly puts you down, who would you choose? Where do you actually feel good? Number one, right? What if you be that person for you? How much different your life would be? There's a wonderful exercise in a 3-day body class. I know it's an advanced class, but I love using it in beginning classes and in podcasts. It's amazing exercise, and it's a good thing to do in the morning. So the way I do it, and if you're just listening, I'm rubbing my hands, and if you're watching, you can see that. I'm rubbing my hands and creating a little energy ball in between my hands. And when I kind of like breathe into that, have a little energy, I put it on my face. I can touch it, I don't have to touch. So you can see, I can just put my hands over my face and just say, thank you, body. Thank you, face. Thank you for being with me. I'm not divorcing you. I'd like to have intimacy with you. I'd like to honor you. I'd like to trust you. I'd like to be vulnerable with you. I'd like to listen to what you have to say, because body actually can talk to us, but 90% or even more, we ignore it. The volume goes up, and then it turns a lot of times into pain. or at least perceive as pain, the intensity, but it's just body communicating. How often you've ate something and you knew it wasn't good. It wasn't something the body desired. It wasn't something good for the body. And yet you ate it and then you threw up or came out of the other end. That's the body telling you, I don't like it. But yet, when we divorce ourselves, when we're not listening to our body, when we divorce our body, we don't hear that. Just like in a relationship, when you divorce somebody, you don't hear what they have to say. There is no communication. There is no communion there. What if you start being that 5 element of intimacy with you and your body? What would that create? What if you start doing the exercise of loving your body and appreciating your body each day? What if you were in a relationship and each morning you and the other person would tell each other how much they love and appreciate each other? Would that relationship flourish, or would it end up in a divorce? But it has to be sincere. It cannot be made up. Though they say go through the motion and the feeling will come, a lot of times if we go through the motion, eventually it becomes true. Yeah, and try it. See for yourself. I'm not saying that it will work, but it might. What do you have to lose? Except maybe difficulty with the body, maybe losing some of the limitations, maybe kind of like creating more and being greater each day. Just saying, what would that create? I challenge you, don't do it. And keep being and going through the divorce with you. There is an amazing book, Divorceless Relationship by Gary Douglas. It's marvelous. I invite you to read it. It's translated into a couple of languages. I don't think it's translated into all languages. But if you read in English, please pick it up. It's on Amazon, on a lot of different platforms. It's on Kindle, whatever you like. Just be you, or being you, changing the world. Dr. Dan Hare book, which is also talks about being you and creating different reality with the world. Time for our third and final break. Our show is coming to the end, but it's not the end of the show, just the third break. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network. And today our show topic is Stop Divorcing You. And in the first three parts, we were talking about that we are infinite beings, and it takes a lot of force to contract and cut parts of us. And we did the expansion meditation to kind of see that we are the infinite being. In the first part, we're talking about judgment, that each judgment cuts part of us because we decided that this is bad and we cut this part out. It might even be not this lifetime. Those parts that we disavowed or cut off might have been cut off in a past life where we decided we were evil, or somebody else decided that we were evil. Maybe we were burned at the stake as a witch when we were healers, and we are cutting off our healing ability and divorcing our healing ability. But we cannot divorce that. We cannot suppress it. We still have it. It just comes out in a weird way. Sometimes it comes out when we take other people's stuff on, or when we take other people's disease on and getting sick ourselves without even knowing that we're doing that. So when we're divorcing you, we have no idea what's going on in our lives because that's a separation. That's when we are kind of like, oh, that's not me. That part is not me. But it is you, all of us. When we don't like somebody, well, a lot of it is a part of us that we don't like. Because majority of people are, especially when we like or don't like, is or are our mirrors. And it shows us where we're divorcing ourselves, where we're separating from ourselves, where we kind of judging ourselves. And if we stop for a second and start having the 5 elements of intimacy, as we were talking about before, the honor, trust, vulnerability, allowance, and trust, and gratitude, it starts shifting things. We start being present in our lives. When we divorce ourselves, we actually divorce not just our body, but we divorce our lives. So when we are not present in our lives, problem starts creating. A lot of times we don't even see when the problem comes up until the problem is already there. What if we actually stop divorcing ourselves and start paying attention to our lives, being us, and choosing more for us instead of against us? How often you know what to do and you do the opposite, or you know not to do certain things and you do it anyway? That's divorcing us. That's doing things against us instead of for us. What if we actually start being aware? When we are present, when we are being us, we are more aware. And that's the thing about not divorcing ourselves. When we are intimate with ourselves, let's say you're intimate with somebody, you have trust, you have honor, you have vulnerability, you're aware what that person is doing and being. You can see when they're sad, you can see when they're angry, you see when they're loving, you see when they're kind. And yet when we divorce ourselves, we don't even see a lot of times when we are unkind to ourselves. So we don't see when we are killing our body. I'm talking about killing it slowly with food, with certain people, with cigarettes, with alcohol, with emotions that's killing us, doing things against us. What if we stop doing that? What if we be all of us and choose for us, choose being in our lives? And I know our show is coming to finish line. I'm not saying to the end because I'll be back next week, same time, same place. It's on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 noon of Eastern Standard Time. And depending where you are in the world, that's the time of the day or night. I know some people are asleep during that time, but there is always reruns and replays. You can go to Inspired Choices Network app, where all the recordings of all the shows, and I think there is over 100 right now of all the podcasts there, or you can watch it on demand on 250 different platforms, including Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube. 250 platforms. I'm not going to go through all of them, but it's available, including the app on your phone, Android, Apple, doesn't matter. You can download it on the website. There are links everywhere, Facebook, Instagram. You can find me on all the social medias. As I said, Facebook, Instagram. My profile is Helen Gitlevich. Personal profile on Instagram and Facebook. There is also business profile, Creating Abundance with Ease. Website, creatingabundancewithease.com. You can always email me directly through the website. I believe Inspired Choices also have a link for the email, personal email. If you have any questions, just talk to me. And as I said, we'll be forward, not back. We never go back. Remember that. We don't go back. We don't divorce ourselves. Just being present in our lives. And my invitation right now to be grateful for who we are, no matter where you are starting right now. Even if you're starting with only 5% of you, let's be grateful for that. And let's start peeling the layers, opening the boxes where we put ourselves, and stop divorcing and start having the communion with ourselves, with our bodies, choosing more for us, following the energy, following what's true for us, and being all of us. What if what's true for us is light? And if we just follow the lightness and having fun in our lives, what if it will change the planet as well? What if it's what required right now for each one of us? Choosing more for us will change the face of the systems of control and the governments and everything. And all it will take for us to stop divorcing ourselves and start having intimacy with ourselves, start being present in our lives, being present with our bodies. Love you all. So grateful for you listening to the show now and in the future. And anything, just ask for it, because the universe is abundant. And the more you ask, the more shows up. Just be. And I'll see you next week, same place, same time. Bye.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body.